Yo, we're here with another Dygoknight video just to increase our Naruto knowledge. Now, this one is about Hashirama, which is the only true Woodstyle user. The only true? Now, what does that mean by true? Because I know Yamato can use Woodstyle, and I'm sure there's some other people that can use Woodstyle as well. But why is he the only one? Don't you need to know water and earth style, pretty much, just to figure out how to use Woodstyle? Or do you need like some kind of Hashirama Senju cells in your body to do that? Let's check it out.
Of the Leaf Village is the only Naruto character capable of using Woodstyle naturally, meaning he's the only character born with that capability. Everybody else that uses Woodstyle in the Naruto series does so by using Hashirama cells.
Yep. But why can't Tsunade didn't do it? Isn't she related to motherfucking Senju?
Yamato, Madara, Obito, Danzo, all the Zetsu variants. Black Zetsu, for example, can only use it because he is attached to a white Zetsu, and white Zetsus are literally deformed Hashirama clones that Madara grew with Hashirama cells out of the ghetto Mazo. So yeah, Hashirama seems to be the only guy that can use Woodstyle because he has that capability and not because he stole from somebody else, mainly, well, Hashirama himself. But why is that? Isn't that strange? Because Woodstyle is listed as a Kekkei Genkai, aka a bloodline limit. As Yamato explains to Naruto when he is learning the Rasen Shuriken and Wind style and everything, Woodstyle is the combination of earth and water styles, treating the Woodstyle Kekkei Genkai.
Yeah, earth and water.
It doesn't really feel like a Kekkei Genkai. It doesn't feel like a bloodline limit, because nobody else in Hashirama's bloodline possesses that power. Sure, all of the Senjus that we know the capabilities of are extremely powerful, but none of them have...
Honestly, I wish we got to know more Senjus. This, like, Tobirama and Hashirama, like, that's not enough, man. I want to know, like, their cousins and shit.
As Woodstyle. If we take a look to the foil of the Senju clan, the Uchiha clan, the Sharingan is said to be rare among the Uchiha. And yes, I said Sharingan, not Mangekyo Sharingan. The Sharingan is rare. Not every Uchiha is going to awaken the Sharingan at all during their lives. Obito himself, when he was a kid, thought he would never awaken the Sharingan. But still, it is something prevalent in the clan. Several Uchiha clan members have the Sharingan, even though most of them will not have it. The most powerful ones, that is. However, in the Senju clan's case, the so-called bloodline limits is only applied to Hashirama himself. And yes, Hashirama is the strongest member of his clan, so obviously he would have the most powerful jutsu, but it is strange that nobody else has it. After all, it would be weird if Madara, for example, was the only Uchiha that had access to the Sharingan at all. So in order for us to understand why Hashirama inherited this very unique power, we have to go back, and I mean way back, when the Sage of Six Paths had two children. Ashura
okay, here we go.
Indra.
Okay, so I'm assuming it's just going to be the reincarnation. That's the reason why. But that's stupid to me. Because obviously, like, you're going to have his genes if you're related to him. So what's stopping him from using the Woodstyle?
Indra inherited the ocular and mental powers of the Sage of Six Paths, and Ashura inherited the physical power, the stamina, and the raw chakra. The descendants of Indra eventually became the Uchiha clan, and the descendants of Ashura eventually became the Senju clan. And Indra already awakens the Sharingan from the get-go. We see when Obito is telling Naruto and Kakashi about the Sage of Six Paths story that he even awakens a proto-Mangekyo, kind of like Rinnegan eye. It's essentially a Sharingan that looks like a Rinnegan. It's red, but it has that circular pattern to it, which makes sense. After all, he's very close to the Sage of Six Paths in terms of lineage. We don't know very well what Ashura awakens, though. Yes, we see that Indra awakens the perfect Susanoo when Hagoromo is telling Naruto in the afterlife about the backstory. And alongside that perfect Susanoo, we also see this Ashura avatar that really looks like Naruto's Kurama avatar.
Yeah.
But never Woodstyle to begin with. Yes, there's a garbage filler arc where Indra and Ashura use powers that belong to Sasuke, Naruto, Hashirama, and Madara, and Ashura uses what looks like a 1,000-armed Buddha statue against Indra, but it's complete garbage because they came up with powers that are exactly the same as the characters we know of instead of coming up with something original that would have been much more interesting, and it would make more sense because several of those powers, like the Rasengan Ashura uses against Indra, were created created eons after those two were alive. So even though Ashura uses Woodstyle in that filler, it's filler, I don't really consider it, but if you want to consider it, then I guess Hashirama is not the only original Woodstyle user, because Ashura would also have the ability to use Woodstyle without having to steal it from someone else. But it's filler, it's garbage, it never
Damn, but answer the question. It's not answering the question. God damn, what's taking so long, man? I gotta go to work. Fuck.
appears in the manga, so I don't count it. Hashirama remains the only one capable of doing so. So if Ashura, his direct descendant, the man who is eventually going to sprout out the people that become the Senju clan, doesn't have Woodstyle, how does Hashirama have it? Well, we have to take a look at the origin of Woodstyle to begin with.
Alright, here we
The
go. Come on.
origin of that ability is going to be the Ten Tails. The creature is capable of using Woodstyle very well, actually. It kills Neji with it, blitzed by a stick. If you don't remember, how could you forget? And don't forget that the Ten Tails' original and final form is literally a tree, so wood. So, yeah, it can use Woodstyle. And Hagoromo, the Sage of Six Paths, became the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails after him and his brother.
Okay.
What's his brother name? I always forget the name of that garbage character. Holy crap. Oh yes, Hamura. Wow, I love that plot about the Hyugas living on the moon. Oh no, they don't live on the moon, no, they live in the moon, which is even worse. Wait a minute. So does that mean planets in the Naruto universe are hollow? Huh. Anyways, after the Ten Tails is defeated by Hamura and Hagoromo, they seal it inside Hagoromo, who becomes the Sage of Six Paths after getting all those.
It seems like the creator, what's his name? Kishimoto, I think is his name, was just rushing the story, trying to come up with some things like on the fly, you know, quickly, and just stepping over all kinds of details that are really important. And we're just now, well, I'm just now figuring out that, well, or reminded of the fact that the Hyuga came from the moon.
Amazing powers. The Keikemora of the truth-seeking
It does
orbs,
sound kinda
combining
goofy.
every single nature
It's a cool aesthetic,
transformation.
though.
Yin-Yang release, making him invulnerable to ninjutsu, essentially. And most importantly for this video, the capability of using Woodstyle. Because even for the other Ten Tails Jinchurikis that we see, Obito and Madara, even though they had Woodstyle beforehand by Hashirama cells, their Woodstyles become much more powerful after they become the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails. Obito is creating massive trees out of the ground that spit truth-seeking orbs, for example, and then he literally sprouts out the divine tree. Madara uses a Wood-style jutsu that literally affects every single inhabitant on the planet, except for Team 7, Obito, and the Edo Tensei Hokage. So it's clear that the Ten Tails being absorbed by them enhanced their Wood-style significantly, and if they didn't have access to Wood-style when they absorbed the Ten Tails, it's clear that the Ten Tails would have granted them so. The Ten Tails also grants extreme regeneration powers. Madara gets half of his body exploded by the Night Guy, and he regenerates out of that without much difficulty. He literally regrows his left arm out of it. Sasuke also bisects Madara in two, cutting the lower half of his body, and Madara just casually keeps going and eventually regrows that part of his body. And regeneration like that is very much associated with Woodstyle. Hashirama was capable of doing so. Not to that degree, even though he still was amazing
Oh,
with
that
it,
would have
but
been cool if you could like amputate Hashirama and then he just regrows it. That would be cool. But that would just be a wood clone, I'm guessing.
he was able to do so. Also, other Woodstyle users can regenerate, like Obito, for example, and Madara, when they don't have the Ten Tails, that is. And yes, of course, it's not as powerful as when they have the Ten Tails, but you get the point. Woodstyle has the capability of regeneration, and that's one of the things the Ten Tails Jinchurikis also get, meaning that Hagoromo had Woodstyle when he got the Ten Tails. And Hagoromo most likely had his children when he was a Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails as well. We don't know who's the mother of Indra and Ashura, but we know that Hagoromo only got rid of the Ten Tails, getting it out of himself and splitting the Ten Tails into nine-tailed beasts at the end of his life. So he had those two when he was the Jinchuriki. Now, yes, of course, the children will inherit powers and characteristics from the father, but can they also inherit characteristics from the tail beast that lives inside the father? I hate to bring up filler stuff, but Boruto and Himawari do have whiskers just like Naruto has, but they don't really have Nine Tails' powers. Well,
Yeah, that's
apparently
interesting.
Himawari does now, but
Huh?
whatever. It's not canon, it doesn't matter. Let's
Dude,
forget that
I'm so scared of watching Boruto, man. I'm so afraid of Boruto. I've watched like I think the first 2 seasons. She was so boring, man. They're going to kindergarten eating cheeseburgers and shit, man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it to myself. But I might. You know what? Y'all, please let me know in the comments down below. One person already said, "Hey, go watch Blue Vortex Twin," and I thought that was pretty interesting because he's saying it's peak Boruto now, but I can't get over the goofy ass animation and all like them using smartphones and shit. I can't do it.
Even mentioned it. And unfortunately for us, Naruto seems to be the only sample size we have to determine that type of inheritance. None of the other Jinchuriki have children, at least that we are aware of, which kinda makes sense because Jinchurikis are also ostracized by their villages, so people wouldn't want to have children with them. But even if a Jinchuriki cannot transfer the powers of their tail beasts, I think the Ten Tails is a different case. It is a more powerful tail beast that fundamentally changes whoever absorbs it. Take a look at Obito, for
I gotta say, the Ten Tails has the goofiest design out of all the Jinchuriki.
example. Even after he lost the Ten Tails, he was able to summon the Staff of Six Paths to him when he was going to face Madara. And that staff
would
was
not be
useful
afraid
because
of the
he used
Ten
it
Tails.
to block truth-seeking orbs, which are pretty much impossible to block if you don't have something with Sage of Six Paths chakra. The Ten Tails also granted Obito, after Obito lost it, the power to survive the Rinne Tensei Jutsu with amazing additional stamina, and the power to grant Kakashi the dual Mangekyou Sharingan and awaken the perfect Susanoo in him with new Kamui abilities. We also see the exterior appearance of both Obito and Madara changing when they absorb the Ten Tails. That does not happen with Jinchurikis of regular tail beasts. They just get the tail beast inside of them, but if they're not using the chakra of the tail beast, they look the same. Madara and Obito, however, had a complete changeover in their appearance, which corroborates the fact that the Ten Tails changes the person that absorbs it forever. The chakra, you could say, is more invasive because it mixes with your being, unlike the other tail beasts. So you could say that after Hagoromo absorbed the Ten Tails, he got Woodstyle, which became a part of his being because the nature of how the Ten Tails works in the Jinchuriki, which means that he could have passed on the ability to use Woodstyle, which means Hashirama's Woodstyle, him being a descendant of the Sage of Six Paths, and Ashura didn't—
You know, I gotta say, I'm so glad we don't live in a universe where like we have people like this, you know, like just beings, you know, these outworldly beings that can create this chakra that can just instantly destroy us and take our souls away and stuff like all that crazy nonsense. I'm so glad we live in a world like this.
come out of nowhere.
Goodness.
It came from them,
Like,
mainly
like
Hagoromo,
imagine
because we don't have
you're a simple soldier looking up at the Susanoo like what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Fucking train? Who do you think are Naruto?
Ashura was capable of doing so, but that still doesn't explain why Hashirama is the only one capable of using Woodstyle, at least
Imagine.
as an original user of the
Look at this
jutsu.
shit.
Now, from a meta standpoint, you can argue that Hashirama wouldn't want to give this jutsu to too many people. First, because it is too powerful and he wouldn't want to make several characters broken. But then again, several characters end up using Woodstyle, and many of them in a less effective way than Hashirama, which didn't even feel OP, like Yamato, for example. He doesn't feel like an extremely OP character or anything. Sure, he's strong, but his Woodstyle is nothing amazing like Hashirama. Also, Obito's Woodstyle is powerful too, especially when he fights against the Mist Anbu ninjas, but it's nothing compared to what Hashirama can do. Danzo's Woodstyle almost affects him more than it helps him when he uses it to block the Susanoo arrow from Sasuke. Madara in his Edo Tensei form was the only character that had really impressive Woodstyle jutsu just by copying it from Hashirama using his cells. But making Hashirama the only natural user of Woodstyle makes Hashirama feel more special, which the first Hokage and founder of the Leaf Village, the god of shinobi, should feel. Also, many people don't like the Hashirama cells thing because Hashirama cells become an answer for anything weird in the story. How can Obito survive having half of his body exploded by a rock? Well, it's Hashirama cells. How can Danzo use Izanagi so perfectly and have 2050 Sharingan?
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is the Naruto version of steroids. And look, everybody's using them, so
Sharingan in his arm, Hashirama cells. How can Naruto get a perfect replacement arm? Hashirama cells. And you get the point. But honestly, I like that trope. Hashirama cells feel like an infectious thing. So much so that whenever you get too many of them, a Hashirama face grows on your chest or your arm or whatever.
That's
We see that on
disgusting.
Madara and Danzo. It's pretty sick, actually. It makes Hashirama feel like this different entity in the Naruto universe, which was the point. But
wait,
coming
wait,
from
wait,
an
wait, wait. I forgot about the face thing. That is absolutely disgusting.
universe perspective, what's the reason for him being the only user of Woodstyle that gets it naturally? Why don't any of his clanmates have it as well?
Why does
Hashirama
Naruto not
was
have a face
born
on his
with a
chest?
particularly powerful and massive chakra. This innate raw power that Hashirama received upon his birth was what allowed him to unlock this secret KK Genkai that the Senju clan had, but it's pretty much impossible for you to access it. It's this ancient hidden power within the blood of the clan that can only be unlocked by a few chosen people. The most powerful members, or in this case, member of the clan. It's such an obscure KK Genkai that the clan is probably unaware of
Bro,
its
I gotta
existence.
say, out of all Naruto characters, I think Tobirama's got the best drip, man. I love his style, man. Tobirama, his look, his design.
Until Hashirama uses it for the first time. And because Hashirama wouldn't have a teacher because nobody else knew it, he would have to have unlocked
Even his
it
voice
by
in
himself,
English.
probably through innate knowledge
And
or
just like he's
talent.
always ready to throw hands. How can you not like Tobirama, even though he's a rod? See, even though like he feel that way about the Uchiha. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still cool. I gotta say, his drip is outstanding.
Similar to how the users of the Mangekyo Sharingan unlock their abilities through instinct. And Woodstyle could be compared to the Mangekyo Sharingan in terms of its rarity and also the fact that it's a hidden step in the KK Genkai. It is very difficult for you to acquire both of those jutsus. It's just that for the Mangekyo Sharingan, you have to go through amazing anguish, and for Woodstyle, you just have to be born extremely powerful, way beyond the average of your clan. Or, steal some Hashirama cells. If you want to find out...
Or, just take some steroids. No, great video by Dygoknight. Really appreciate it, man, for, expanding my Naruto knowledge just so I can win in some debates. Appreciate it, my boy. And, this is another, how do I say, an alternative, because Naruto's over, and I'm not actually scared of watching Boruto, so I really appreciate more Naruto content, more Naruto behind the scenes backstory and whatnot. Thank you, Dygoknight. Thank you. Appreciate it, my guy. I'll see y'all later.